Continuing on with three-round mock drafts, and we're the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like this is a pick where you don't have to reinvent the wheel because one of the best players is still on the board, and it's a huge position in need for the Dallas Cowboys. Also doesn't hurt that it's one of the biggest names in the draft, and Jerry Jones loves to do that. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and NFLDraft.net, and this is the three-round mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys.
I get knocked down, I get back up.
The Sportsocracy.
And I'm unapologetic.
Rough 2024 season for the Cowboys, and one of the biggest problems that you can't run the ball. I fully believe that with Dak Prescott and actually adding a running back, whether you bring back Rico Dowdle or not, doesn't really matter. I love the kid. He's from 45 seconds from where I'm sitting, Asheville native just like me. But I do feel like you need a head of the snake. There is one premier running back in this class. I do have him head and shoulders above every other running back, even though I have a Marion Hampton closer. At pick number 12, Ashton Jeanty, running back out of Boise State. I said in a previous video that I'd never seen a yards after contact as high as Caleb Johnson's. Well, I have now. 5.25 for Ashton Jeanty. 96.6 PFF rushing grade, 215.1 in elusive rating. I mean, Ashton Jeanty's just not of this world. Yards after contact. He had more yards after contact than any other running back in college football had yards, period. This kid is special. My biggest knock on him has been, and probably will continue to be, he's just not all that big. You look at a kid that's 5'9", 215 pounds, that's going to be difficult for him to, I think, to hold up to a Saquon Barkley-esque type workload. He also has a lot of tread off the tires because he did get a ton of touches at Boise State. But running back in this draft, he's one of the top 5 players in this class almost universally. He's a great kid. He was around Radio Row at the Super Bowl, and everybody was talking about how he was just going to be an absolute star. Level of competition is a big deal, and he definitely did regress against Penn State, but they were very committed to stopping him. I think he's a true A1 bell cow, would be first-round pick in fantasy drafts next year. Ashton Jeanty at number 12 to the Dallas Cowboys. We continue on here with pick 44, second round for the Cowboys, and I'm going to take a position of need that just so happens to be one of my favorite players in this draft. Xavier Watts, safety out of Notre Dame. This kid is really good in coverage, really good against the run, had a 15.6% forced incompletion rate, had one of the lowest passer ratings allowed in college football last year at 30.1. I think he's special. I think this kid could be a Pro Bowler a few years from now. He can play in the box. He can play deep. He's done it all. I don't really understand why this kid's not a first-round pick. That's one of the things I've been struggling with. I have him in my top 30. He's sitting here at 44 and would be an absolute home run for the Dallas Cowboys. I'll tell you another thing about him that's really intriguing to me. If you look at his game logs, almost all of his best games were against some of the best teams they played. Texas A&M, Louisville, Georgia, Indiana, Ohio State. That was 5 of his 7 highest rated games of the year. This kid steps up in the biggest of scenes, and the biggest knock is slightly higher than normal missed tackle rate. I don't necessarily think it's that big of a deal. He is so instinctive and around the ball so often that I think it just kind of inflates that. I don't see a huge tackling issue. Sometimes he has to be a little more sure in wrapping up, but that's all. I think this guy's Xavier Watts, day one starter for me, out of the box, and would be a great value in the second round for the Dallas Cowboys. One more pick in this mock, number 76 overall, and I'll go Jaylen Royals, wide receiver out of Utah State. I like him a lot against man coverage, had a really high contested catch rate. Drop rate was only 5.2%, forced a ton of missed tackles. He's just very electric with the ball in his hands. I think he would be a nice replacement to Brandon Cooks because I don't believe Cooks will be back. And you need somebody else on that field to take some of the pressure off CeeDee Lamb because right now it's CeeDee and a bunch of dudes. Not having a running game was definitely something that affected Dallas last year. Not having a legit, consistent threat on the opposite side, also something that hurt them. A lot of people think this kid is slot specific, and it's just really not true. He played 290 snaps. He did have some injury issues this past year, and in those 290 snaps, only 64 of them came out of the slot. Now, he did have a 25% catch rate in snaps out of the slot. He's really good there, but that doesn't mean that that's the only place he can play. I think Jaylen Royals is an immediate day one fringe 2 or 3, and a year from now, he's a legit 2 across from CeeDee Lamb and would be great value. I don't necessarily think there are a ton of 1 receivers in this class, but I think there's a mess of 2s and even more 3s. Receivers really deep. Jaylen Royals is a nice value here in the mid part of the 3rd round at pick 76 to the Dallas Cowboys. If you like these picks, if you hate these picks, if there's a player you want to talk about how they would fit with Dallas, or you just want to put your mock in the chat, feel free. Throw it in the comments beneath this video. If you like this video, click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you can see all of our mock drafts. You can also click through the playlist to the left of my face that will show you all 32 teams NFL mock drafts as we get them out, and we'll have them all out by Monday when we leave for the 2025 NFL Scouting Combine in Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm Jeremy Green of ESPN Radio Asheville and NFLDraft.net, and this has been a 3-round mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm unapologetic. Cancel, yeah, you can try. You can't cancel what's been tonight. I ain't been and it's shit, no silver spoon inheritance. Tired of trying to be what other people want me to be, and now you get what you see.